What was the true cause behind the mysterious death of Alexander the Great, the unconquerable king of the ancient world? And what was his enigmatic last wish? In the year 323 BC, after an arduous expedition in India, Alexander was struck by a severe illness. He was in Babylon recovering from a grand feast, when a devastating illness hit him unexpectedly and mercilessly. The indomitable conqueror was not resistant to the vulnerabilities of the human body. He fell victim to an unidentified ailment causing unbearable pain. His once proud physique now bore the harsh evidence of his battle with illness. His personal physician, Philip of Acarnania, despite his commendable efforts, could not halt the deterioration of his condition. Each passing day bore witness to his declining strength and dwindling hope. His soldiers, who had braved the most formidable battles at his side, could only watch as their leader was gradually overpowered by the ruthless disease. Over 12 harrowing days, Alexander was brought to his knees by an unseen enemy. The once untouched king, who had stood tall amidst countless adversaries, was now under the control of an unyielding enemy. In a matter of days, the man who had emerged victorious from innumerable battles was on his deathbed. The unbeatable Alexander, the unrivaled warrior and king, was staring at his biggest and, sadly, his last fight. As death loomed, Alexander made a wish that left everyone puzzled. In the twilight of his life, Alexander the Great, the invincible warrior, the unstoppable conqueror, made a curious request. He wished for his hands to be left hanging out of his coffin when he was laid to rest, empty and returning to dust. An unusual wish, certainly, but one that held profound symbolism. Alexander, the man who had conquered vast territories, from his homeland of Macedonia to the distant reaches of India, had amassed untold wealth and power. He was a man who had everything, yet in his dying wish, he chose to display his empty hands to the world. But why, one might ask, would a man of such stature make such a request? Theories abound, and historians have pondered this enigma for centuries. Some suggest that it was a humble acknowledgement of his mortality, a recognition that despite all his conquests, he too would return to dust, just as his empty hands would. Others propose a different interpretation. They argue that Alexander's wish was a powerful statement on the fleeting nature of material wealth. His empty, outstretched hands could be seen as a symbol of the fact that despite amassing a vast empire and unimaginable wealth, he could take none of it with him in death. Some even hypothesize that it was Alexander's final act of defiance, a poignant reminder to those who would succeed him that they too were mortal, and that all their power and wealth would ultimately be as ephemeral as his was. Whatever the reason, Alexander's death wish remains a topic of intrigue and speculation. It's a testament to the enigmatic nature of this legendary figure, a man who continues to captivate us, even after over 2,000 years since his passing. A powerful statement from a man who had everything, yet in the end would take nothing with him. This, perhaps, is the lasting lesson of Alexander's unusual death wish, a stark reminder of our shared mortality and the transient nature of earthly riches. On June 10th, 323 BC, Alexander the Great breathed his last. As the sun set on this fateful day, the world said its goodbye to a paragon of power, a man who had etched his name in the annals of history with the strength of his sword and the breadth of his empire. Alexander's final moments were as enigmatic as his life. At the young age of 32, his demise was as swift as it was unexpected, leaving behind a trail of questions that scholars and enthusiasts have attempted to unravel for centuries. What could have possibly cut short the life of a man in his prime? A man who seemed invincible on the battlefield. There is no shortage of theories when it comes to Alexander's untimely end. Some believe he fell victim to a nefarious plot, poisoned by those envious of his success or fearful of his power. Others argue that his death was the result of natural causes, possibly a bout of malaria or typhoid contracted during his extensive military campaigns. But irrespective of the cause, the fact remains that Alexander's death left a void that was impossible to fill. His passing set in motion a series of events that would change the course of history. His vast empire, once held together by his iron will, crumbled into fragments, each piece a battleground for his former generals and allies, each vying for a piece of his legacy. And yet, despite the chaos that ensued, Alexander's death marked the end of an era. It was the end of a reign marked by unparalleled military success and territorial expansion. It was the end of a life that, though brief, had left an indelible mark on the world, a life that continues to inspire and intrigue us even today. And so, the great Alexander, who had conquered the world, was himself conquered by the inevitability of death. His story serves as a stark reminder of the transient nature of power and glory, a testament to the fact that even the greatest among us are, in the end, mere mortals. Though Alexander's life was short, his impact on history was monumental. His conquests forever altered the course of human events, leaving a legacy that has reverberated down the centuries. Unarguably, one of Alexander's most significant contributions was his influence on military tactics. His innovative strategies, such as the use of the phalanx, forever changed the face of warfare. His genius for tactics and strategy, his ability to inspire and lead men, and his sheer audacity set a standard for military leaders that has been admired and emulated throughout history. But Alexander's legacy goes beyond the battlefield. His empire, though short-lived, set a precedent for political governing. He showed an uncanny knack for incorporating conquered peoples into his rule, often adopting their customs and traditions, which became a blueprint for future empires. His reign saw the fusion of cultures, creating a Hellenistic world that blended Greek, Persian, Egyptian, and other cultures into a vibrant new milieu. Furthermore, Alexander's conquests spread Greek culture far and wide. This dissemination of Hellenistic culture had a profound impact on the development of art, literature, and philosophy, influencing the Roman Empire and, by extension, Western civilization as we know it today. Yet the mystery surrounding Alexander's tomb continues to intrigue us. Despite numerous historical accounts, the exact location of his final resting place remains unknown. This enduring mystery serves as a poignant reminder of the transient nature of earthly glory. And let's not forget the ongoing debates about his death. Was it a result of illness, or was he poisoned? These debates mirror our enduring fascination with this larger-than-life figure, who even in death continues to capture our imagination. And there you have it, the life, death, and enduring legacy of Alexander the Great, the man who showed the world that even the greatest of emperors cannot escape the clutches of death. His story, filled with triumph and tragedy, serves as a compelling reminder of the fleeting nature of power and the indelible mark one man can leave on history.